Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Botanik. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be building a really cool machine. And this machine is going to be making beautiful vegetables and flowers. Today we're going to be taking a look at Botanik. This is a two-player puzzly mano-a-mano style game that takes about 30 minutes to play but has plenty to think about. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Botanik, you're trying to make the best machine. Everyone starts with a starter tile, and from that, you're going to be placing other tiles, some of different colors, and you're going to be making this machine and basically puzzling together a bunch of these pipes of different colors to try to make one large machine that's running really well and a lot of points in the end. And towards the end of the game, your machine might look something like this. On a turn, there'll be one player that's a start player will have this really cool token in front of them, and they are going to take one of these tiles and either place it on their own side of the board or the middle of the board. And then it will go to the next player, and then it will come back. So one player is going to be able to take two of these tiles, and one player is just going to get one of them. So it's tile drafting, if you will. But there's a lot of planning that goes on which tile you take and where you place it. Now when I take a tile, if I want to add it to one of the open spots, you can't add it where there already is a tile. If I want to add it here, it either has to match color or it has to be the same type of tile. So for example, this one could go here because it matches yellow. Now if instead of that tile, it was this one, I could place this one here too because it's the same type. It's not the same color, but it's the same type. They're both vegetables with the three flowers. There's only a few different tile types in the game. So I could have done that as well, trying to plan to get these tiles out. So instead, let's say it was back to the normal place here. Instead of placing here, I can also place on top. Now, if I place on top, you can place any tile. There's no rules. They can stack. Now you'll look at to see if anything gets released. This tile stays here because it's my opponent's tile and it's the same type of tile. However, the tile that I placed here earlier, which at the time needed to be the same type or color, is now going to get released because this tile is not the same type or the same color. So this is a great play because it allows me to take a tile and not them. And so maybe I take this tile and I place it like this. I'm trying to connect a big network of things all the way through to the start tile as well. We'll tell you how the scores in just a moment. So let's say the opponent takes this and they really want this tile, so they'll place this here. It doesn't match type or color, so they take this and they get to place this on their side. And let's say I take this and I place this here. Now look, this matches shape, so they're not going to get their tile, but it doesn't match this. These are special mecha bots. When you get these, you get to basically transfer for any one of the ones that are on the top. So I'll take this one instead and place this here. These are the most powerful tiles in the game because it allows you to get a tile, sort of sneak it away and things like that. So that's typically what you're doing, is you're placing tiles like that. Then this would pass to the next player. You put out 3 more random tiles and same thing over and over and over. This is sort of like 3/4 of the way through the game. I wanted to show you what that looked like. So you're always trying to plan which tiles to take, which ones do you not want your opponent to take, how is it going to interact with your tiles, their tiles. A lot to think about, but it's very interesting how you set yourself up for planning and trying to get tiles out at the right time and not helping your opponent either. Now you keep doing that till all the tiles are gone from the stacks, and then you'd score. Now anything that's not connected. Now when you place a tile, not only do you have to you don't have to necessarily connect it. You could place it so that there's a side without a pipe going into a side that's not a pipe like this. And this might, I was trying to plan to get something here, but if at the end of the game something's not connected through pipes to the source tile, it gets removed. So you really need to try to make sure you finish things towards the end of the game. And then you're going to score. Now, as you can see, everything else is pretty much in some way connected to this source tile, so everything else stays. But now we're going to look at all the tiles. So anytime you have 3 or more tiles of the same color that are connected, you'll get a point for each of those. So in this case there's 3 of them, so it's 1, 2, or 3. Now you need to have at least a minimum of 3 to do this. Like right here, we only have 2 that are green, so I don't get any points for those by default. So we get 3 points for these. Then if you have a flower or a vegetable, these are flowers, these are vegetables, they all have 3 sort of flowers on them, you'll get a point for each of those, assuming it's connected to the right type color. This is yellow, it's connected to here, so we get 1, 2, 3 more. So these 3 tiles got us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total points. Now this one is not connected to the green directly, so this is not worth any points. These are, as long as these are connected to anything, you'll get, a flower. You'll get a point for this flower. This one is, there's 3 and it's connected, plus we have a total of 4 tiles. So each of these are going to be with a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3 for the flowers that are connected to the red. Now these two, again, we're just getting a point for this flower here, but there's only 2 blues, so we're not getting any points there. that's pretty much how you score the game. Whoever has the most at the end is the winner. All right, this Botanik, let's tell you what I liked about it. It has sort of like this cool sort of steampunk appearance looking. Like the pipes look cool. Just the whole like appearance of the game I think is really cool. It just stands out. The art looks really nice. It's easy to tell the pieces apart. Just the detail on the pipes look cool. Good artwork there. This game is a very sort of puzzly style network building game where you're trying to puzzle things together and make the best machine you can, and planning for longer term planning, trying to figure out what do I need now, how can I stop them now, but how can I think about things for the future. It's got a lot there for how simple mechanically the game is and how short it is at 30 minutes. This game is, a lot of it is the drafting and the hate drafting. And it's like, okay, I'm going first this round. If I take this tile, they're likely to take this tile. So I'll take this one because I don't want them to have it. But likely then they'll take this tile and then they'll probably leave me with this. And you think through those permutations at the beginning of your turn and you're like, which is the best thing for me to do overall? Is it better to hurt them and help me a little bit, or help me a lot but also maybe help them a little bit? And you're trying to figure this out and math out the points and looking at their board. This isn't like you're playing this in the vacuum type of thing. This is a very interactive game where every move you make changes it, not only for you, but also possibly for your opponent. So if you like sort of drafting things, tiles, and you like drafting to hurt other players and to stop their strategies as well, you're really gonna like this. It's something I really loved in the game. There's a ton of forward planning of the tile placement. You're trying to set things up. You're trying to say, you know what? I know what kind of tiles are in the game. I'm going to set this up. I'll leave this over here. I'll start working on this other side over here. And later on when that piece comes up, I really got to get it. And there's a certain amount of each of the pieces, so you pretty much can know whether it's coming or not, or whether they're gone. But you're doing a lot of forward planning when you're building your network as well. And I like that aspect because it is a very tactical game, as I mentioned, as you're just getting those different tiles and doing the drafting. But there's also a lot of longer term and forward planning too. It's a really good balance of those. I love it that when you're trying to figure out which tile to put where, that you're trying to really like release your tiles, and that's it. Like you don't want to release one of your opponents and not yours, and you really want to find a spot, if it's possible, to place a tile, as I showed you in the overview, to let you get the tile and let them not get it. Now, with that being said, that's most of the time what you're trying to do, and you can be creative with that. However, sometimes you can force your opponent to take a tile before they're really ready. Like they might have one of those nice flower or vegetable ones which score a ton of points, especially if they get them into a network of 3 or more of the same color. And they might have it in there early, and you might, force it out on purpose so that they have to take that. And because now they have to figure out, they kind of have to like put their hand out, as like, I'm putting this here. It's gonna go off to the side. In the last game that I played, I did this to my opponent, and they got this flower like really early, like the first tile or two, I forced it out. And because it couldn't connect it to the color that they wanted, they had to put it off to the side. And for the rest of the game, when those tiles came out, I tried to make it sure that they didn't get it. And sure enough, they weren't able to connect that at the end of the game. So sometimes you can tell that they're holding and they've got some tiles on their side that they want, but they want to take it the time that they want to. And sometimes you can force that tile out to make them take it now and force their hand. They're going to either have to like stop their plan and maybe not build as much on that color, but still get those points from the flowers. Or they're gonna have to be like, you know what, I gotta get a little greedy, I'll put it over here and hope to connect that and get many points later. There's some push your luck aspect there as well. So there's a lot here. For as simple as the game is, there's a lot of depth here, and that's my next one, is this game has simple mechanisms, but tough decisions. Lots of depth, tough decisions, and it's just a brain burner. Like it's just so fulfilling of trying to figure all this stuff out and the different tactics that are in this game. And especially, this is a great sort of drafting, tile laying, spatial aspect, 2-player game in 30 minutes. This is a fantastic 2-player game. Probably the best one that I've played that has come out this year, 2 players. Now on the negative side of things, there's tiles that come out, and some of the game can be a little lucky, and luck can definitely play into it. For example, if you just happen to be the first player that turn and a really good tile comes up like the Mecha, Mecha Bot, well, that's going to be good for you. Now, over time, it's going to usually even out, but there might be a game where 3 of the Mecha Bots, you were the first turn on, and you're able to use those powerful tiles to swap. Or maybe more often, you got those great vegetables and flowers when it was your first turn. So there is some luck there, and I can't always say that you're always gonna win just because of strategy. Sometimes luck can play into it. So this game does have a balance of strategy and luck. So if you're looking for that, this is good for you. But if you're looking for something where you don't ever want luck to like, you know, make you win or not, then this might not be the game for you. It's not huge. It's just in some games, certain lucky things can happen. And you're like, oh man, if I just happen to have been the first player this time, I would have scored this thing that I've been working all game for, but because they got to it, they get to, you know, screw me over in that right. Now, regardless of all this, there's still multiple tiles of each type that you can get and things like that. So it's not like a game killer. Just know that there is a decent amount of luck that can swing in your favor or not in your favor sometimes because of the play order when the tiles come up. But over that's sort of a nitpick because this game is fantastic. This is part of the Space Cowboys 2-player line. And I absolutely love it. And for those reasons, it's getting a Saxophone Serenade. It's being inducted into my gaming library, which means I gotta find a game to get rid of. Luckily, this is a small box. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you love. Hit it. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing thematic premium stitched edge mats, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it is a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Get in on the goodness of Game Toppers 3.0 on Kickstarter now. Click the link below or go to GameToppersLLC.com.